Alright, so we're on the back of the notes now, and we've got a couple more vocabulary words to talk about. The first word is called perpendicular. Perpendicular lines. And what that means is two intersecting lines that form right angles. So in the picture on the right here, you have line Y and you have line X, and there is a right angle symbol in between where those two lines intersect, where they cross. Anytime you have perpendicular, if you see that word, that means right angles, and what that means is 90 degrees. Right angles always measure 90. So that tells you something, that gives you information that might help you to solve a problem. The symbol for perpendicular lines, for perpendicular, is an upside down T. It is an upside down T. So in the picture on the right, you have line Y, you have line X, and what we could say here is that line Y is perpendicular to line X. That's what that means. Perpendicular lines, 90 degrees. Okay, and the other word we have is complementary angles. Now, if somebody is complimentary to you, then they say, okay, you have nice shoes. That's a different kind of complementary. You spell that C-O-M-P-L-I. Complementary, in terms of geometry, is two angles whose sum is 90 degrees. Supplementary is 180. Complementary is 90. We don't use complementary as much, but basically what it means, if I draw this picture, let's say we have a right angle, and we'll put a right angle box there so that you know it's a right angle. And if I draw a ray from this vertex, so here's angle 1, here's angle 2. Together, you know that they add up to this right angle. They add up to 90. So the measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2 equals 90 degrees. That is complementary. So let's look at a couple examples. Okay, let's solve a couple algebra problems. And let me zoom in a little bit here. Now the first one, ignore this information at the top. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to find x, and I'm going to teach you a little symbol here. This symbol, it's a logic symbol. We'll use it more in the next chapter. But what it means, it's like an A, except without the cross. That is the word for and. Find x and measure of angle ABC. Okay, so we're going to find two things. We're going to find the value of x. We're going to find the measure of angle ABC. So take a look at your picture. You have two lines that intersect. Now, do they equal 90? Are they perpendicular? We don't know. They don't tell us that. They don't give us a symbol, so I'm not going to assume that. They tell you that this angle here is 4x plus 7 degrees. That's the measurement. Because you have that degree symbol, that tells you it is an angle measure. And then this angle, CBE, is 6x minus 17. Now I'm going to label that with 2 arcs because these are different. We don't know they're the same. Well, most of these problems, there are two choices. The angles are congruent, or they add up to 180. They're supplementary. And in this case, they're not vertical angles, they're not congruent. But if I draw a picture, if I trace out angle ABC and then angle CBE, notice that what happens is that at the bottom part where I traced it, that's a straight line. So this whole thing has to be 180 degrees. These are supplementary angles. So I'm going to solve this. I'm going to set up an equation. If they're supplementary, 4x plus 7 plus 6x minus 17 equals 180. That's my equation. Okay, now, before I start moving things, let's combine like terms. 4x plus 6x, that's 10x. And then you also have positive 7 minus 17. So 7 minus 17 is negative 10 equals 180. Now we keep going. Now we start moving. Let's go plus 10 plus 10. So we get 10x. The negative 10, positive 10 cancel, equals 190. Last step, divide by 10, we get x equals 19. Now we're not done, because we also need to find, it says find x, good, and the measure of angle ABC. Well, we have not found that measurement yet. Go back to the picture. Take the 19, let's substitute. Here's ABC is the angle at the top. Take the 19, substitute for x. So we're going to do 4 times 19 plus 7. Now I would use a calculator for that. You get 76 plus 7, which is 83 degrees. Okay, now I don't really have any space here, so I'll say 83 degrees for that angle. That's 83. I don't need to find the other measurement, but I'm going to do it to check. Let me try 6 times x, 6 times 19 minus 17. That's going to be 114 minus 17, which is 97 degrees. So we've got 83 and 97. Oh, if I add those, that adds up to 180. So that's my check right there. I know I'm right. So x is 19, measure of angle ABC equals, that was 83 degrees. That's it. Okay, we got it. Now, number 2, very similar problem, except now look at where the angles are. Angle ABC, or I'm sorry, angle ABD is 8x plus 3 degrees. Angle CBE is 11x minus 24 degrees. The two lines intersect, but this time all they have in common is the vertex. They're not adjacent. So these are not 180. These are vertical angles. That means that they are congruent. Vertical angles are always congruent. If they're congruent, that means that these are equal. 8x plus 3 equals 11x minus 24. So notice in number 1, the equation was you add these up, add the angles, you get 180. Equation 2, they're congruent, so I make them equal to each other. All right, here we go. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to move 8x. I'm going to go minus 8x minus 8x. 8x minus 8x is 0, so all we have is 3 equals 11 minus 8, 3x minus 24. X is on the right side, so I want to move negative 24 to the left side. I'm going to go plus 24, plus 24. Add those up. 3 plus 24 is 27 equals 3x. Negative 24 plus 24 is 0, so that's gone. Last step, this is 3 times x. To undo multiplication, let's divide by 3. We get 9 equals, 3 divided by 3 is 1, so 1x or just x. X equals 9. Are we done? No. Find x, good, and the measure of angle ABC. Now ABC is this angle up here. There's nothing, there's no number for that, there's no variable for that. How can we get it? Well, let's go to the picture. Let's take the 9 and substitute. So 8 times 9 plus 3 is going to give us 75 degrees. 11 times 9 minus 24 is also going to give us 75 degrees. Angle ABC, if I, for the moment, let me cover up here. So now you're just looking at this. Notice that at the bottom part here, oh, that's a straight line. Straight line, that's 180 degrees. These angles are supplementary. So here's 75. I can figure this one out by taking 180 minus 75 to figure out what's left over, and that's going to give me 105 degrees. So my second answer, measure angle ABC equals 75 degrees. That's it. Okay, last piece of this here, number 3. Which angle pairs are supplementary? Which pairs are complementary? And we're going to use this picture. Now, supplementary means they add up to 180. I'm going to use some colors here to try to do this. Angle RBC is red. Now, to get 180, I have to get a straight line. Well, angle CBL, notice these are adjacent. If I look at it down here, it's this angle and this angle. Together, that's 180. So angle RBC and angle CBL is one example. Now you could also say, how about angle RBM and angle MBL? Now I know that's hard to see, so let me draw it out. Angle RBM is here, and then MBL, there's MBL, there's RBM. Look, straight line at the bottom, that's 180. So angle RBM and angle MBL, those are supplementary. They would add up to 180 degrees. Okay, now the second part, which pairs are complementary? Complementary means two angles that add up to 90. Now here's the thing. In this picture here, I see I see three angles that are next to each other. Three angles next to each other. And the one in the middle is 90. Now if I put all three together, I get a straight line at the bottom. That's 180. So if I take out the right angle, if I take this out, if I take 180 minus 90, that leaves me with 90. So that means that angle RBC and angle MBL together have to add up to 90. Now I don't know if they're the same. I can't say that they're the same, but I do know they have to add up to 90 degrees. So complementary would be angle RBC, so this one here, and angle LBM, angle LBM. And that is it for the notes for today.